You know, the day after a loss is not an easy one for a coach, and the night after a loss is probably even more difficult. Shane Steichen, some good humor today as he discussed the loss yesterday and what he needs to do better and whether he's going to send those plays, the two highly contentious plays that the officials got completely wrong. Is he going to send those plays to the NFL office for clarification? He answered that question and more this afternoon.
Just injury update. Eric Johnson, he had an ankle that came up after the game. Just to update you guys there. With that, ready to go when you guys are.
We'll start with Joel.
Shane, what did you see when you looked at the two coverage penalties on Darrell Baker at the end of the game, the illegal contact and the PI?
Yeah, I mean, they were tough calls. I'm not going to get into a lot of the officials on that situation. As a team, we got to do better to not put ourselves in those situations at the end of games, not leave it up, to those things at the end. But tough calls, they made them, and that's what it was. So we got to move on and learn from them.
James?
Dane, do you have any update on Juju and how he's doing with the quad?
I don't. I know he's got the quad, but I'll give you guys an update on Wednesday.
Nate?
Yeah, this was kind of an interesting game where both Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor had the same number of carries, same number of snaps. Is this just, the next step for Jonathan? Do you feel like he's kind of getting closer to being a guy that maybe you can lean on a little bit more in the offense?
Yeah, we'll continue to evaluate that. Zach's running really good too, so we feel that we have two really good backs. Obviously, Jonathan is a home run threat for us, and we'll continue to evaluate it, but really like where both those two are at right now.
Greg?
Shane, hey, there's competitive fire, which we all know Pittman has, and there's whatever he said after the game, and he said, quote, "Maybe I'm not a big part of the offense." What do you do with that?
Well, I think, Pittman is a huge part of this offense, and he's the ultimate competitor. And I think when really good players, they want the ball and they express their feelings sometimes, and that's part of this league. And we're going to do everything in our power to continue to get him the football moving forward.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Kevin?
Shane, will you send in either of those calls to the league to get clarification?
Yeah, we'll look at those things. Yeah, every week we send in certain things. Yeah.
And those will be two of them you send in?
Maybe.
And then the other, when you went back and looked at the end of the first half, game management wise, any regrets over how you handled things?
Yeah, I mean, the backed up there, I got aggressive, try to, instead of just throwing something quick, try to do a double move back there. Like I said, after the game, that was on me. And then, the third down call, we threw the screen there, kind of knocked us back to a 60-yard field goal. Instead of, could have called a run there, could have called a slant, something quick. So yeah, obviously I got to be better in those situations moving forward, learn from them and grow from them and move forward.
Steven?
Hey, Shane, we might have asked this after the game. I can't remember, but now that you've seen the tape, just with Gardner and the ball security, I mean, I get it, right? I mean, when guys are on top of you, it's tough. But is there anything you see that maybe you can address or he can address, or what do you think can be done, if anything?
Yeah, I think just the repetitions, especially in practice, just in the pocket, two hands on the ball. Those strip sack fumbles happen sometimes. Sometimes you don't see those guys, and that's part of it, playing quarterback. But just knowing when bodies are around you of doing a really good job of keeping two hands on the football will be a priority moving forward.
George?
Shane, JT's also one of those guys kind of takes some time to get lathered up, and then once he gets hot, he can really get hot. How do you balance like letting him kind of get hot with giving Zack the carries that he needs as well?
Yeah, I think, with those things, when people are hot, you kind of ride the hot hand. If he has a really good series, let him go again on the next series and let him roll. So those things are evaluated in game management stuff. DeAndre Smith, our running back coach, does a really good job with those guys, rotating them in and having those conversations on the sidelines with both of them.
JJ?
Shane, tagged a lot of motion, especially on running plays yesterday. Just what went into the thinking on that, and how did that kind of help guys be in position to make plays yesterday?
What'd you say that again? You said motion on running plays?
Yeah, tagging motion on running plays, specifically, like how did that help out the run game?
Yeah,
Putting guys in
yeah.
position.
I think, anytime you motion, the defense has to communicate on the other side of the football. So it was just something we used that week just to get the communication over there on the defense to try to help up, the offensive line and create some, holes up front.
Yeah.
Coach, you touched on it, but when you go back and evaluate game tape, how hard are you on yourself? I mean, you mentioned a couple. I mean, do you really kind of take a tough look?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with anything, anytime you lose a football game, win or lose, you self-evaluate yourself and starts, looking in the mirror and saying, hey, how can I have been better, win or lose the game to help these guys? Because there's so much work that goes into this game, and these players, they fight their tails off week in and week out to prepare for, 3 hours on Sunday. So as coaches, we got to do our best every single week to put them in position to succeed.
Last one for Coach James.
Shane, do you feel comfortable with DJ Baker being, potential starting cornerback if Juju can't go?
Yeah, DJ's done a good job. He had a good training camp, and obviously, if Juju's down, DJ step up and play that role and keep working every week and getting better.
Actually, one follow up. What does Alec Pierce mean to your offense? Even though he might not have the same amount of targets or catches as other guys, I would imagine him being out there changes things for you. So what does he mean to like the production you see from Josh Downs and Pitt and others?
Yeah, no, he's been great. Obviously with, Downs and Pitt and the other guys and him being in that, role as well. But just given that big play, explosive playability that he creates. I know he had a few catches. He had the big one, when we got the free play to create those big plays down the field. And he'll continue and evolve in our offense. And, week to week, you never know, like, where the ball may go. Some weeks it might be Pitt for 10 catches, and the next week it might be Alec for 8, So there's one football, and we'll do everything in our power to get these guys the ball week in and week out.
Good to hear from Steichen that the Colts are going to make a priority putting two hands on the football. That's good news because you can't turn it over like the Colts did yesterday and the week before and win games. Now, yesterday, they almost pulled it out, right? Because if the officials don't screw up the game, the Colts win that thing. But they got to keep it out of the hands of the officials, and the way to do that is keep your hands on the football. Later this afternoon, a great giveaway, the prize egg. It is full. We will show you what's in it. You are going to love it. You must subscribe to this channel and to Two Big Brains and send me a DM in order to qualify for the drawing. And it's a good one.